We now want to talk about an ongoing topic in the news, and that is the war in Ukraine. Now, a travel show that airs on Denver7 called Raw Travel has an upcoming episode all about that country. And Robert Rose is the host and producer of Raw Travel. He joins us now. Rob, tell me about this upcoming episode. You titled it Steadfast in Ukraine.
Right. Yeah. So we said steadfast in Ukraine because when we went was July, but I knew that this was going to air in November. And what it's really about is staying with Ukraine. So, as time goes on, people's attention spans kind of waver. It's important to remind people that, this war is still going on. People are still suffering. And that's really what it's about. And if the Ukrainians can remain steadfast on their side with everything that they're going through, why can't we, who are really just supporting them?
Now, as you traveled throughout the country and you documented what you saw, what's one or two things that you learned?
Well, I mean, it was my first time into a quote unquote war zone, even though we were pretty far away from the action. We had some air raid sirens go off, so I got a little taste of that. But the thing that really surprised me the most was we were in Lviv, the western part, was just the sense of normalcy that Ukrainians were really steadfastly committed to trying to preserve. They were still going to restaurants. They were still trying to have a good time. They were still socializing, all within the backdrop of this terrible devastation. So, it just taught me that human beings are really capable of a lot, and you just don't know it until you actually have to go through it.
Now, this episode isn't one of those kind of a travel episodes where it's here's why you should visit here, here's some things to do while you're here. So, because of the obvious reason that you did this episode and the reason that you traveled to Ukraine, what do you want the viewers to take away from this episode?
Well, originally we went because I had been there to travel to produce one of those types of episodes and fell in love, and that's where I fell in love with the country. So I've been to Ukraine 4 times. And it has a lot to offer a traveler, obviously, outside of wartime. And so one of the things I want people to get from this is that not only should you support them now, but when they need to rebuild, travel and tourism can play an important role for that. And that's what we want to be there for. And we actually filmed a lot of content for hopefully what will be a follow-up episode after this devastating war is over, how we can help travelers, can help Ukraine rebuild.
The episode Steadfast in Ukraine airs this weekend on Denver 7. Robert Rose of Raw Travel, thanks so much for the time.